Amen. Come on, let's give this choir God bless you, as well as give praise unto the Lord. No, praise unto the Lord. Amen. Amen. Our God is awesome. Amen. Our God is awesome. And he ain't just got that way either. Every day is a day of thanksgiving. God's been so good to us. Well, some of y'all got an attitude with him, so let me just say he's been so good to me. Amen. He woke me up this morning. He started me on my way. Tell somebody the Lord is blessing me right now. Amen. Exodus chapter 14. Exodus chapter 14 will be our text for the morning. Chapter 14 of the book of Exodus. And I want to begin our reading with verse 13. I will be reading today from the New Living Translation. When you find it, would you say amen? But Moses told the people, "Don't be afraid," King James says, and Moses said unto the people, "Fear ye not. Just stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Watch the Lord rescue you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never be seen again. The Lord himself will fight for you." I like the way the New Living Translation ends it. It says, "Just stay calm." You may be seated in the presence of God. Touch at least two people and say good morning if you hadn't spoke. And then tell them, just stay calm. Just stay calm. Just stay calm. Amen. Tell somebody, just stay calm. You have come into this atmosphere today under various circumstances. What a way, what a word for the Lord to speak this morning with what's going on in your life, my life, and in the life of our nation, in the life of our city. And then God speaks today and say, just stay calm. Come on, help me one more time. Tell somebody, just stay calm. Just stay calm. I can't go any further till you get it in your spirit. Just chill out, chill. The young folk will say, just chill, just chill. Pastor Lot, just chill. Just tell somebody, just stay calm. If you're not standing still, you're not calm. Just stay calm. This morning, brothers and sisters, this text has been preached so many times throughout the chasms of time. Brother and Sister Earl, there are many ministers who have mastered this text, blessed a lot of people, broke a lot of chains, and allowed the word to do what it is designed to do, and that is to bring us out of bondage. This word has done that over many of years of preaching, centuries of preaching. But I revisited this text by the guidance of the Holy Spirit, and I discovered that in this text, God was really showing us how he can take us from critical to miracle. Do I have a witness here? And if you are, to know if you are a candidate today, all you have to do is look at your situation. And I've got some people that have come this morning that are watching our Facebook family fellowship, our Twitter connection, our social media connection. They are listening right now, and they are tweeting back, "Say it, preacher, say it." That I'm a candidate because my situation is critical. Everybody that's in the hospital is not in ICU. There are levels, Carol, to severity. There is a status to your situation. There is ICU, and then there's CCU. Come on, talk back to me here. And then they place you in stable conditions. But however, what I found out is in the vernacular or propaganda of property and real estate, Sister Williams, a whole lot of us are like Israel was in this text. They were in a cul-de-sac condition. Y'all know what a cul-de-sac is, don't you? That a lot of people like living in a cul-de-sac where you have one way in and one way out. I wish I had somebody praying with me right now. Touch your neighbor and say, you got one way out of this. And I've got somebody back here that will agree with me right now that God oftentimes, as we make turns and follow his direction, he leads us into cul-de-sac conditions. I mean, you really ought to help me preach this, because I'm saying what you've been thinking, that I got here listening to God. Now some of y'all are where you are because you've been driving, but there are those in here right now, you've been passengers to the wheel of God, to not the W-H-E-E-L, but to the W-I-L-L. You've been a passenger. You have not been trying to drive, but you've been letting the Holy Spirit lead you and guide you into all that is truth, because you and I don't know what truth is until it is revealed. And you found yourself like Israel in a cul-de-sac condition. That means you are surrounded, and there is one way in and there's one way out. Y'all not praying with me here. Mountains on both sides. Red Sea right in front of them. And then Pharaoh and his stampeding stallions coming up swiftly behind them. If that ain't a cul-de-sac situation, I don't know what it is. But I've got good news today. If you just stay calm. You see, Pharaoh came to shut down retreat. God hardened Pharaoh's heart. That's why you got to be careful how you play with your faith. You see, God orchestrates everything. If you read this text, we'll find out that God, first of all, hardened Pharaoh's heart. And then he turned around and softened Pharaoh's heart. God used Pharaoh as a puppet. And that's why you can't fret yourself because of evildoers. And neither be thou envious. I'm preaching and y'all ain't saying nothing. Of the workers of iniquity, for God is puppeteering. Oh, y'all ain't hearing this. See, folks, you done prayed and they ain't gone nowhere. It's because they have a purpose in your passage. Some folk are pressing you to your miracle. Because if you hadn't had these problems, you wouldn't realize that God could solve them. I mean, really, the truth of the matter is God has put you in this cul-de-sac so that you can't look back, you can't look side to side, and you can't even look forward. God says, I need you to look up. Touch somebody and say, look up and live. Look up. You don't have to die in this situation. This does not have to be the death of you. Even though it's critical, it's just right for a miracle. I wish I had some help in here. And so we have to be careful how we think that God done forgot about us when he is in control of all of it. Truth of the matter is, it's in him, Samantha, that we live, that we move, and that we have our being. And Moses said to the people, fear not. He had to say it because fear has now moved to the forefront. Now, often it's so easy for us to be hard on the children of Israel, but let's give them a break. They fresh out of slavery. They just heard about a God. They just found out that Jehovah has adopted them. They just found out that there is a land, just a couple of days, that there is a land that Moses said God had promised that was flowing with milk and honey and not brick and mortar. Boy, I'm going to preach if y'all don't say nothing. And so under the circumstance, somebody say under the circumstance, we have to be compassionate toward their character right now. You see, sometimes we can be so critical because we've been through 50 storms when somebody else has just gone through their first storm. They are fresh out of slavery, and we've got to look at this text in order for it to unfold. We have to look at their position. Let the church say position. First of all, let's look at their position physically. Physically, they were encamped about where God told them to go. When you read the maps of Egypt and you study the red lines that show you the exit route that God told them to take, you'll discover God was really being gracious in how he guided them out of Egypt. Watch this. He didn't let them go up north, he sent them south. Because had they went up north, they would have faced some enemies they wasn't ready to fight. And so what God had to do was he had to let them know right off the bat that every battle you fight is going to be me fighting it for you. I just need you to stand still. See, right now, you don't know how to fight these enemies. You just know how to build pyramids. Right now, you don't even know who the enemy is. You don't even understand. He says, so what I need you to realize is that where you are right now is a condition that I have you in so that you can be the congregation to be a witness for the mighty acts of God. Tell your neighbor that's all a miracle is. It's a mighty act of God. Physically, they were centered and strategically set, and they had camped by the sea between Migdol and the Bible says Harath. They were there by the shore across from Baal Zephon. I'm in verse 1 and 2 now. And as they were camped there, physically, they were enjoying a fresh scene. It got quiet right there. It got quiet because sometimes what often refreshes you now makes you afraid. Give it some time. What excited you now horrifies you. Because when reality sets in and you realize you are no longer in a position you once were, but then you don't know what God is expecting of you, it can get scary. That's why some of y'all ain't clapping right now, because you're in a situation that's scary because you are in a place physically where you've never been before. You've never been without hair. You've never been without teeth. You've never been, y'all ain't talking to me here. You've never been without a wife. You've never been without a husband. You've never been. You're in a position. Life has a way of shifting position. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, you can wake up in the morning And stuff can take place while you sleep. And you'll find yourself physically in another position. Your back ain't bending like it used to be, and your eyesight ain't what it used to be. Your footsteps ain't no stride no more. Y'all ain't talking to me here. Your belly button ain't where it used to be. Your waistline done found somewhere else to abide. Y'all ain't got to say nothing. Physically, they were not waking up to bricks, whips, and mortar. They were waking up to a seashore. They were waking up to fresh air and not being cussed out and beaten and driven. They were waking up now to liberty. They were waking up now to a sky that was prettier than it's ever been. Physically, they were in another position. Oh, yeah, I wish I got some folk in here to tell you the position they in right now is with a stent in their chest. The position they in right now is dialysis twice a week. They are in another physical position. But the text says, not only can we look at their position physically, we've got to look at their position psychologically. Oh, it got quiet right there. It got real quiet right there. Watch this. Sometimes, brothers and sisters, we've got to realize that the experience for people is uncommon to them. See, when you've been beat all your life, you can't understand why somebody not beating you no more. When you've been abused, you can't handle affection. Y'all, I'm just in this text. See, this was all uncommon to them. You know, one of the scariest things in the world is to wake up retired. Ask those who've done it. If they're not careful, it's so uncommon to them that they'll wind up going back to work. Because you know what they'll say is, I don't have nothing to do. Because they have been used to a regiment, a regularity, and a routine of life. That's why I was trying to tell one of the brothers one day he had retired and his job situation had played out on him, and he was just saying, I'm just happy now. I'm just going to retire. Next thing I know, he told me, I got another job, Bishop. And I had to tell him as we were riding in the car, man, learn how to do nothing. See, folk that's got to do something mad at folk who don't have to do nothing. But what the folk that got to do something don't realize is the folk that ain't got to do nothing are in a position now. But you wasn't there when they were having to do something. You wasn't there to know what it was they had to do. Y'all done got quiet. Stop being jealous of folk who done put their time in and now they're in another position. And to those of you who are in the position, enjoy it. Enjoy not having to fuss no more because God done took them out your life. Enjoy not being mad no more. Enjoy smiling and not being scared something gonna happen. Learn how to enjoy but psychologically you messed up because this is uncommon to you. Watch this, watch this, watch this. How often does it happen to us, brothers and sisters, that the very things which at first sight we rejoice with delight proves afterwards only to be our greatest sorrow? Oh, we just can't wait till certain times. Oh, we just rejoice in thinking about it. But as soon as it shows up, it now becomes our greatest sorrow. That's why y'all looking at me like you're looking at me. Because you couldn't wait till you walked out of there. Oh, how happy you said you was going to be. Now we see you and we got to ask you, what's wrong? Why you ain't smiling? Why you ain't happy? Why you ain't rejoicing? Because psychologically, they are not able to wrap their brain around a new position. We couldn't sit you down before you got it. Oh, I just can't wait to get this house. Oh, I just can't wait to say I do. Oh, I wish I had a witness. You cannot, listen, the Bible says, let me go on and finish this text. At first sight, we rejoice at things. Only later that it proves it's our greatest sorrow. You see, if you look at the text close enough, they were happy to be out of Egypt, but they were sorrowful. They didn't know nothing about Canaan. They had no clue of what Canaan consisted of. Listen, to be emancipated is one thing, but to stay free is another. To be liberated is one thing, but to live by the law of God is a whole nother thing. Y'all done got quiet. Let me preach to this side over here. I'm going to say it one more time. For they were not used to the life of freedom. We deal with people on a daily basis, psychologically. They have not had a life of being allowed to think for themselves, and to now they wake up and now they make their own decisions. See, I'm not like these kids nowadays. I had parents that thought for me. Now, I think I got some help in here too. I didn't know I had a mind. I just need 4 people to pray with me right there. Tell your neighbor, I didn't know I had a mind. My mama told me, you ask me what you thinking about. Let me tell you what you gonna do. Y'all ain't talking to me here. And the most frightening experience, Pastor Lot, was when my dad had dropped me off in Kansas in college. And I saw that green church van drive off, and I saw them brake lights, and then I saw that right turn signal, and he drove off, and I'm standing in front of my dormitory just looking like he leaving for real. And what I later discovered was the fear that I was experiencing was not I was being left alone, but the fear was I was being left to have to think for myself. Touch your neighbor and say, you can't blame nobody either. Y'all done got real quiet. Now you done finally got out the house. You don't know what to do. Yeah. You can't wait till you get out. Now you're out. You don't have a clue because you wasn't paying attention when the instructions were being issued out. Oh, y'all done got real quiet in here. I wish there was some more young folk, but to the ones that are in here right now, it's easy to think when you in somebody's house. But wait till when you got to think when you're trying to keep a roof over your head, when you're trying to keep some running water, when you're trying to keep a current flow of electricity, when you're trying not to get fired on a daily basis, when you got folk lying on you and digging ditches for you, and then you got the devil trying to take your head off. Look at your neighbor and say, you think you can do this? Oh, it look easy when somebody else driving. Boy, I'm finna come all down these roads right here. Ain't that something? Have you ever had somebody in the car that tell you how to drive? And then finally you just get tired and say, you want to drive? No, I don't want to drive. I don't want to. Well, can you just stop giving directions then? If you don't want to drive, stop giving directions. What God was saying to Israel is, I've placed you in this cul-de-sac condition so that you understand right off the bat, let me drive. Boy, if you really believe that, touch your neighbor and say, let God drive. Let him drive. You're not used to snowy conditions. You're not used to ice on the road. Bible says that. Tell your neighbor, stay calm. Just stay calm. See, if you drive and you're nervous, see, if you're nervous, that's because you're trying to drive. But if you letting God do the driving, just stay calm. Tell somebody God got it all under control. But what happens is you're not used. My mother used to tell us all the time. She said, dress like you're going somewhere. And I used to wonder why. She said, so when you get there, you don't look out of place. Because somebody know conditions are changed so fast, you don't have time to go home and change. Whoever's ready when the move is made gets the position. No sense applying for a job that requires a BA. Get the job and then tell them, now let me go to school. They are looking for somebody that's already ready for the change. God placing them in this cul-de-sac condition was getting them ready for the changes they were about to face, because freedom was new to them. Y'all know folk don't know how to act when they get out. I ain't lying. And I ain't talking about the penitentiary either. Some of y'all don't know how to act. Now you out of your storm. You acting like you ain't heard God say nothing. Because what you got to realize, there are three phases. You're either in a storm, coming out of storm, getting ready to go back into one. Y'all ain't talking back to me here. So you got to learn, act like you done been here before. People know folk who ain't never had nothing. I used to have to say that all the time. People say, why you this and that? I said, because I ain't never had nothing. I ain't never had nothing. And I used to think that was a medal. I used to think that was, I was being honest, because I wasn't poor. I didn't come up poor. That's not my testimony. Let me straighten this out right now. That's not my testimony. Everybody want to have the most pitiful story. That ain't my story. I didn't go to bed hungry. If I did, it's because I was hard-headed, got a whooping, and went to sleep. Or my mama said, okay, you don't want this, we're going to put it on a little platter, set it in the middle of the stove, and overnight, when you wake up, your stomach get to talking to you. It'll be in there. Y'all ain't talking to me in here. In other words, she said, you may not eat it now, but you're going to eat this. She said, because she knew hunger pains had a way of driving you. Because it's hard to miss a hungry man. When you got folks say, I don't eat that and I don't like that, they ain't never been hungry. Because when you hungry, a saltine cracker tastes like a steak. When you hungry, crackers and cheese and a salami is a gourmet salad to you. Tell somebody you ain't never been hungry. You ain't never been hungry. But when you've been hungry, hunger has a way of directing you. They wasn't used to the life of freedom. That listen. And I'm gonna give you these three things and leave you alone. But before I give you that, let me tell you, it takes time. Come on. It takes time. Don't miss this. To teach people who always been slaves. It takes time to teach people who've always been slaves to appreciate the blessings of opposition. I just want you to know right now, it takes time. And that's why it seems like trials and tribulations and storms seem like they last so long, because it takes time to teach people who have been slaves to something how to appreciate The blessings, don't y'all miss this, of opposition. See, watch when God puts you in this new position where you have been praying, get away from here. But now you're going to tell that devil, bring it. Because with every opposition comes an opportunity. So while you praying the devil stay away from you, you better hear God say, I can make the devil bless you. He comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy, but I have come that you might have life and have life more. But do you not know that you can reap divine dividends from demonic activity? Because if I never had a problem, I wouldn't know God could solve them. I wouldn't know what faith in his word could do. Somebody ought to jump up and holler through it all. I've learned to trust in Jesus. Can I get you to share with your neighbor right now? Say, neighbor, this that you're going through is finna bless you. Oh God, I need you to speak faith in here right now. Tell them you finna be blessed from all directions. You think danger is coming from all directions, but you got to know God put you where you are. He's finna send blessings from every direction. Because the good news is right now, you can't curse what God done blessed. It takes time. It takes time. You don't appreciate it right now. I know. That's why you looking like you're looking. You don't appreciate it right now. You don't see the blessings of this opposition. You want everything to get out of your way. But a whole lot of stuff that's in your way is preventing you from destruction. There is a way that seems right unto man, but the end thereof is destruction. And so we got to understand it takes time. It takes time. It takes time to teach people who have become accustomed to slavery. It takes time for a woman who's used to a man whooping on her to appreciate a man who loves on her. You know, a woman that's used to dodging punches. Get a man who just want to reach out and grab her. What you doing? And he have to ask you, what's wrong with you? I'm just finna hug you. She said, I thought you was finna hit me. You got it. Sometimes, let me tell y'all, I got to tell folks sometimes when they say, Bishop, why you acting like that? I have to tell them, you don't know who I've been around. I don't care about y'all looking at me like that. Some of y'all talk the way you talk, handle business the way you handle business, treat people the way you treat them is because of who you've been around. You ain't used to folk being around you that don't want nothing from you. You ain't used to people who got their own money. You used to people asking you for your money. You ain't you. And so if you're not, it takes time. And then every now and then I have to slow down and just say, forgive me for that. Forgive me. I'm working my way through some issues. I've been a slave to this. Oh man, y'all ain't talking to me. Some of y'all you've been a slave to prescription so long. Until you can't even appreciate a day you don't feel bad. I know some folk that gotta find something to go to the doctor about. Because they don't feel good until the doctor tell them, well, we don't see nothing right now. But because you become a slave to health, why you can't have good relationships, because you have become a slave and been in bondage to bad relationships. Until now, anybody that's good or anything that looks right or anything that you're suspicious of it. But can I tell you, it takes time to teach people who've been in bondage. It takes time to teach them how to appreciate the blessings of opposition. I need somebody to holler, this is finna bless me. I know the devil meant it for evil, but God finna make it work for my good. And we know that all things, somebody shout hallelujah in here, work together for the good of them that love the Lord and who are the called according to his purpose. This is not a stumbling block. This is a stepping stone. This is not a downgrade. This is an upgrade. This is not my demise. This is my deliverance. Moses said, the Lord is going to show you today. These Egyptians that you've seen, you're not going to see them again. I promise y'all. After chapter 14, they ain't saw no Egyptians no more. They may have saw some Gergesites, but they ain't seen no Egyptians. They may have saw some parasites, but they ain't saw no Egyptians. They may have saw some Hittites and some Hivites and some Amorites and some Jebusites and some Philistines, but they ain't seen no Egyptians. They went from bondage to battle. Y'all ain't liking this. Blessings come with opposition. They were in bondage. They ain't never had to fight. They just built pyramids. But now freedom calls for them to have to do battle. But God says you don't even have military mentality because you've been a slave for so long. You don't know how to give orders. You know how to take orders. So what I need you to do is understand, I'm your chief. And right now, I'm not even asking you to fight. I just want you to witness my power. Touch your neighbor and say, you ain't got to fight. God just wants you to be a witness. Lord, I'm about through. I didn't mean to hold you this long. So he says in these words, he says, stand still. They didn't have no weapons. They were barely carrying their children and the old folk. Now they're in a cul-de-sac. They had no military strategy. God wasn't expecting them to do what they couldn't. Y'all just missed y'all shout right there. You sitting up here tripping, thinking God expecting you to do something, and God said you ain't equipped to do that. Why you worried about doing something you're not equipped to do? He says when you find out you lack equipment, I need you to rely on me. I'm out of here because y'all missing all of this. Here we go. They couldn't feel it yet. Tell your neighbor, I can't feel it yet. See, this position psychologically I'm in, I ain't feeling it yet. That's why some of y'all got to pump you. I got to prime you. I got to say, touch your neighbor. All that stuff, I'm trying to get you to feel it. I feel like maybe if your neighbor got any power, they can transfer it. You know, I just feel like if it might not be me, but somebody next to you that can help you feel it. Tell somebody, I'm just trying to get you to feel it. All that music and all that hollering and all that screaming and all them cymbals and all that dancing, just trying to get you to feel it. Y'all not getting it. Y'all see they could not as of yet feel, come on here, that it was better being free than being comfortable in bondage. I need you to touch your neighbor and say, I can kind of get used to this here. I can kind of get used to being the head and not the tail. I can kind of get used to being above and not beneath. I can kind of get used to being a lender and not a borrower. I can kind of get used to being powerful instead of powerless. Y'all ain't feeling it. Y'all ain't feeling it. That's why you can sit there with your arms folded. That's why you can sit there and say, it don't take all that. Tell you ain't feeling it. You ain't feeling it. Because every now and then when the power of God gets to moving, when truth gets on your trail and looks you face to face, tell your neighbor you got to feel that. Because it makes you free. And who the Son sets free is free indeed. And you got to get comfortable with being free rather than confused about being a slave. I am what God says I am. By the grace of God, I am what I am. Y'all done got quiet on me. Somebody needs to get used to the idea of it's better to be free than to be comfortable in bondage. That's why our penal system has a recidivism rate. It's called the revolving door. When I was working for state parole, pardons and parole division, over in South Dallas on 2nd, I see a lot of the used to be clients. I hope you're off now. I hope you're off. You're looking good too. You're looking good. See a lot of caseload in here. Y'all done got quiet. Don't try to sit up straight. You're gonna give yourself away. But it was amazing within the time frame that I worked there, how many times individuals would go in and come back out. They call that the recidivism rate. The ratio of the time it's going to take the average criminal to go back to crime and go back to prison. Because they can't get comfortable. They can't get used to feeling the freedom. The pressure of freedom causes them to say, at least I had 3 hots on the cot. Can I tell you what they said? You got some brothers and sisters, uncles, daddies, uncles, granddaddies. They done told you, in there, I ain't got to worry about what to do because I'm told what to do. In there, I ain't got to worry about where I'm going to sleep. I got a cell. In there, I ain't got to worry about eating. They're going to feed me 3 times a day. But when I get out here, I got to deal with people not wanting to look past my past. I got to look at the fact I got to press past my past and folk who want to keep me in my past. And I got to press toward a mark of a higher calling of God is in Christ Jesus. I got to totally rely on the connections of God. So they say it gets hard when you done walked in places and been turned down for a job. You keep asking folk pray for me, and I'm praying for myself, and don't want nobody hire me. Then I lie, and then they find out, and then they'll tell me your past don't mean nothing. And then when they find out my charges, they come in a week later and say, got to let you go. I'd rather deal with bondage than to have to deal with this hustle and bustle out here. And so that's why I try to tell all young people right now, especially our young men, a man knows how to manage. And a man ain't got to have a lot to manage. Just take what God blesses you with. Be faithful over a few things, and God will make you ruler over many. If I can't trust you with $5, you're going to kill yourself with 50. Tell somebody, just be faithful of what you have. I know it's rough. I know it's tough, but God has put you in this cul-de-sac. Take that $50 a week and manage it the best you can. Because I got some folk in here that'll tell you, you didn't know you was broke till you got grown. You didn't know your family wasn't rich until you got grown. Because all you ever heard was your daddy shaking change. Ask him for some money, and he always say, I ain't got no change. I got large bills. Tell somebody that was management. It was teaching you that you can't get what you want every time you ask. It was teaching me that, listen, I got to take care of you, your brother, your sister, your mama. Y'all ain't hear what I'm saying. It just ain't you in the world that have needs. There are needs all around me. And God has placed me as steward over this. And moreover, it is required of a steward to be found faithful. Manage, maintain, and multiply. Somebody said, well, if I get some money, I can do it. No, he gave one talent. He gave another, y'all ain't talking to me here, another one 5 talents. Y'all ain't hearing what I'm saying. And God gives according to our ability. Can't get mad at folk that he gave 5 and 10 to. Can't get mad about that. Just take what he gave you. Manage, maintain, and multiply. You can't, listen, you can't have, my boy, listen, when I first got out there, when I got free from the house, I started out at 19, so I don't know what some of y'all waiting on. At 19, I was having to do it. Brother Johnson, I was having to get it at 19. I was married, had children. Amen, children. I had children. And I had to get it. I had to get it. Came home from college after 3 years. I had to get it. It's time to get it. Y'all ain't hearing what I'm saying. And you got to realize, when I got out here, my first move from my first home was out here in Duncanville. And I was sitting there doing them bills, and the money was just leaving. All that I saw at Redbird, it was Redbird then. Wasn't no use of going to North Park. And Redbird was a step up from Community Mart. See, let me bring, I don't know where some of y'all must be implants from another place. I don't know. Before we had Walmart, we had Community Mart. Before it was Big T, it was Community Mart. And before it was Community Mart, it was Keith's, Lancaster Keith's Bazaar. Y'all ain't get. And before it was that, it was Treasure City. And before it was that, it was Gibson's. Before it was that, over in Village Fair was S&H Green Stamps. And you've always had Montgomery Wards down in the basement where you do your catalog. I lost about 89% of the congregation. Life for me ain't been no crystal staff. One of the things I got upset with my parents about was they set a bar for me. You might fall, but don't fall beneath this. Young people, that's all they're trying to do for you. They know life brings about falls. But it's just a level of lowness you don't go below. My kids get mad. I ain't you. And you want me to be. I don't want you to be me. But I don't want you to be less than me. I want you to be better than me. But I don't want you to fall beneath this, because it's some folk waiting on you to fall. Because they waiting to say, look at them. Their daddy was a bishop. Ain't no sense in nobody. I told them streets gonna put salt and pepper on them and eat them alive, because they ain't got no business out there. There's some folks that come after you because they jealous of where you come from. Because you had what they didn't have. And it ain't a pair of tennis shoes either. It ain't no Tommy Hilfiger jeans. It ain't all this new stuff now. It's that you had love. You had a daddy. You had a father. You had a mother. You had somebody that cared about you. When my children graduated, I was downtown with them, and I never forget one night we was coming after Jamie and my last baby graduated, and I heard a parent tell a child was telling one of his homeboys, said, man, what you gonna do tonight? He said, man, I gotta go home and get my stuff. So what you talking about? He said, we're having a party. He said, I'll be there after I get my stuff, because my mom and them told me at the beginning of the school year, the night you graduate is the night you leave. Then you got parents thinking they really doing something. I done done what I'm supposed to. You 18, you on your own. That. Somebody shout, that ain't cute. That ain't cute. Because why you gonna throw a lamb out among the wolves? That child couldn't even keep their room clean, and you finna throw him in the street? You ain't got to worry about folks saying it's time for you to put them kids out, because they put their kids out. It takes time to teach. Can I be transparent right now? Can y'all give me about 5 minutes, 5 extra minutes? Listen, I used to wonder why my kids, after their mama died, why they were being so rebellious and so hard and seemed like they hated me. That I came to them one day, I said, would y'all have wished it had been me? Tell somebody, be careful of the questions you ask. You might not be ready for the answer. Would y'all be mad if it was me dead? Would you be so angry with God if it was me? I'm doing the best I can. Why y'all so hard on me? Why you making it so hard for me? Why you doing me like this? Keeping a roof over your head. Trying to understand, but I can't understand because my mama here. And I found out God spoke to me. He said, you're trying to handle too many hats. Let me tell you right now, you can't be who you not. He said, you busy trying to be their mama, you their father. Y'all better hear me right now. You can't be their best friend, you their daddy. Y'all better get away from this social, strategic, demonic lie that there is a position in your life that you will occupy the rest of your life. I don't care what the society say. You can't be your child's friend, you their parent. And parents gonna always keep God. I don't care how old you get, how many kids you got, they're gonna guard you. That's why they call it guardians. I said, why y'all so mad at me? Would y'all really want it? Would y'all have preferred? That's what I said. Didn't I say that, Jeff? Didn't I ask y'all that? And they looked at me and said, Daddy, why you ask us something like that? If we had it our way, it wouldn't have been neither. But how many know in here that God has his own plan? I'm trying to help somebody right now. And so I say, okay, God, this is rough. This is rough. And sometimes people don't know what I had to go through trying to pastor, preach, and teach, and still parent. Oh, y'all ain't hearing me. Because I'm at the same time trying, and it seemed like that I was a representative of God, and that's who they mad at. So all I could do is put them in the hands of God and just keep praying. I kept trying to lay hands on them, but y'all ain't hearing what I'm saying. Let me move on. Got to know sometimes the people you praying for don't like who you praying to at the time. They upset with God. They don't like what God has led them into. Mountains on both sides. I just need somebody to tell a neighbor, there's a way out of this. Somehow, some way, Gabe, we're going to make it. With Jesus on our side. Tell somebody behind you, things going to work out fine. Let me go on, shut it down. Here are the lessons we've got to learn that, brothers and sisters, don't y'all miss this. Number one, there are times when all our strength must be in quietness and confidence. Weak people make a lot of noise. It takes somebody with considerable strength to keep quiet. I need somebody over here to say, I got a lot to say right now. I got a lot to say. On these circumstances I'm under right now, give me the mic, please. Give me the microphone. I can preach you a sermon this morning. But I've got somebody in here, God is telling you, I need you to put all your strength, not in balling up your fist, not in putting bullets in a gun, not with raising your fist or your voice. I need you to put everything you got in being quiet. Nudge your neighbor and say, be quiet, be quiet. Now nudge them back and say, but it's so hard right now. When I got folk running all over me, when I got folks saying all kind of stuff about me, when I got the government treating me like I'm not a citizen, when we got all these racial issues in our community we got to deal with, economical inequality, what you talking about? It's time for me to voice my opinion, but God says, hush. Got this man talking to me like I'm a second-class citizen, and if I left this house right now, he wouldn't know what to do. Hush! Got this woman all talking crazy to me, and then she disrespecting me. I ain't having no woman to hush. There is strength in quietness. And when you find a person that can be quiet when mountains are on both sides, Red Sea in front of them, and the enemy coming up behind them, you better leave them alone. Because there is a confidence they have that you don't know nothing about. For we know. I don't care about you looking at me like that, coach. There are times we must put all of our strength. Tell somebody, I'm just trying to be quiet. Confident. Takes a strong person. Keep quiet when folk poking at you. When I was going through my divorce, I went downtown and I found out all this old Trump charges I was being charged with. And I understood now every time I had to leave here and go back home, restraining order, there was an order put on me that I could not put somebody out the house. I'm like, if you don't want to be with me, why you want to stay in the house? But the devil was at work. I ain't scared of y'all. I can say it because it's true. And so one Sunday, it was always on Sundays, always on Sunday. Hell broke loose every Sunday. When I came home from church, and I just said, not today. I'm not going to be quiet. I'm not going to the other room tonight. I'm not. This is my house. This is I'm running around bulldogging. Then that court order came back to my mind. You're being charged for abuse. Physical abuse. That enemy was trying to get me to lash out so I could get arrested. See, some of y'all thought y'all knew, but you don't know the whole story. And I heard the Lord say, hush. Don't you see what the enemy trying to do? If you open your mouth, you're going to lose it all. Hush. Boy, I need somebody to stand up right now and touch a neighbor and say, if you say another word, you're going to lose it all. Tell them you're going to win if you don't say a word. Be still. Be still. Put all your strength in just being still. Secondly, I got to finish this. We must exert ourselves to the uttermost of what we have to cause God to do the greater most. Good morning. Good morning. God bless you. You got to put all you got into doing all you can do, and then rely on God to do the rest. Anybody ever heard mama, grandmama, big mama, Papa say, I done all that. Brothers and sisters, when you done all you can do, you can't do no more. That's when you find yourself in that cul-de-sac. I can't do no more. My money won't let me do no more. Me talking ain't getting nothing done. Put all your strength in being and in confidence that I've done all I can do. Tell your neighbor, under these circumstances, I need you to stay calm. Under being fired, I need you to stay calm. Under, Chris, what the doctor's examination has revealed, I need you to stay calm. Under these circumstances, brothers and sisters, it now becomes our duty. Lord, help me right now. I ain't going to finish this. It becomes our duty to just wait on God. I'm going to preach to this side. They done got mad at me. I said it becomes our duty to wait on God. But you got to learn how to wait. I hear people, hit it for me. I hear people saying it all the time. I'm just waiting on God. Yes, I'm just waiting on God. But they really don't understand. When you wait on him, there's a way you got to wait. Slide your arm around a neighbor and say, under these circumstances, you're going to have to wait on God. First of all, you got to wait on him patiently. Can I get a witness here? You can't hurry God. No. You just got to wait on him. Ain't God all right? You've got to trust him and give him time. No matter how long it takes. Somebody shout, patiently wait. Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard that the everlasting God, the creator of the universe, fainteth not, and neither is he weary? There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, and to them who have no might. Where you at? He increases their strength. Shove a neighbor and say, I feel an increase in your strength right now. Tell him you can't give up now. You gotta patiently wait on him, and he'll increase your strength. The youth shall faint and be weary. The young man shall utterly fall. But they that wait on God shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings like eagles. Hey! They shall run and not be weary, walk and not faint. You gotta wait on him patiently. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, you come too far to turn around. You too close to quit right now. Hey! I got a holler in my spirit. Hey! Wait on him patiently. Wait on him quietly. Hush your mouth. Draw your lips in. Don't say another word. Be still and know that God is God. He'll fight your battle. Wait quietly. Wait patiently. But wait courageously. I can do all things through Christ that strengthen me. Lift up both hands and repeat after me. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Hey! Yes, sir. Tell somebody your critical condition is a miracle move of God. He's getting ready to bring you out. He's getting ready to open up the door. He's getting ready to deliver you. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Come on, deacons, won't he do it? Come on, ushers, won't he do it? Is there anybody here? No, God will. He will deliver. I need some testimony. He will bring you out, and he'll bring you out all right. Tell your neighbor I was aggravated, but I'm all right. I was persecuted, but I'm all right. I was cast down, but I'm all right. I was talked about, but I'm all right. Be a witness to somebody. Encourage them for the last time. Hug them like you've been born again. And say, neighbor, Whatever you're going through, you're gonna be all right. 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 Yeah! 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 Ah! Under the surface, I'll just pick up on that the next time. Tell somebody to stay calm. The Lord is going to fight for you. The limits of our ability are not foreign to God. The most saints will sing a song, Clarence, he knows. Yes, he knows just how much we can bear. We've got to move forward. We extend the privilege of the church. Membership, reconciliation, or intercession. Would you come? We have people standing, waiting to meet you at your point of need. Listen, tell somebody, put all your strength in being quiet right now. See. Put all your strength in being quiet. It's a blessing in being quiet. That's a blessing. Being quiet. There's a confidence when you don't have to tell somebody, when you know what you know. You ain't got to say nothing. Folk can be accusing you, and lawyers can be trying to make you think, oh, we got star witnesses. Bring them. I know what I know. I know in whom I believe. I know in whom I trust. And he is able to keep me. Blessed quietness, holy quietness, what assurance in my soul. That's where it is, right in there. On a stormy sea, Jesus speaks to me, and the billows cease to roll. Oh, blessed quietness, holy quietness. Thank you, Jesus. What assurance in my soul. On a stormy sea, Jesus speaks to me, and the billows cease to roll. Blessed quietness, holy quietness, what assurance in my soul. a stormy sea, Jesus speaks to me, and billows cease to roll. Oh, and the billows cease to roll. God bless you today. God bless you. We've extended the privilege, and the billows cease to roll. Come on, put your hands together if you've been blessed. As we prepare to worship with the gifts and